Hi, I'm Chris Bishop and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Edge. Now this week we're in Centurion near Pretoria for the fascinating story of an entrepreneur who started out as a receptionist and now owns her own logistics company with ambitions to be the logistics queen of Africa. This is the story of Connie Mdladla, a woman who overcame a terrifying disease to live her dream of being an entrepreneur. Just to start off with, just tell us a little bit about your family and how and where you grew up.
I grew up in Pretoria, Soshanguve, in a family of 5 children, a single mother who was working for the SAPS. She was a clerk
That's
all
the
her
police
life.
station.
Yes. And unfortunately, my dad passed when we were still kids. I mean, I was like 8, 9 years old, so I don't have a lot of memories. But anyway, we were raised by a single mom, 5 of us, 4 girls and 1 boy.
And all of you were sort of, shall we say, encouraged to do matric and then go and work.
Yes,
was it not? But
definitely.
you broke away, you actually went to college.
Definitely. Because of the finances, it was difficult for my mom to raise 5 kids, you can imagine. So it was more like, you get to matric and, you get into the police force. That was the only thing we did. But when I got my matric results, my mom said to me, okay, you go and register at the university. I don't even know where she got that money, but it was a nice surprise. I registered with Vista University for a BCom degree. I studied there in Mamelodi for until my 3rd year. Then I dropped out of school due to the fact that I had this unstable condition of epilepsy.
And this is an illness you've battled with right from when you were a small child.
Yes, I've had this all my life, but I think during those years, being a teenager and going into university, like tertiary, it got a bit, worse. Like it was so unstable that, I'd get attacks everywhere I go.
How likely is it that this affliction that you have of epilepsy, this illness, could have scuppered any ideas that you had of being an entrepreneur?
The fact that I looked at myself as this other person who's not like, normal people, I had to do something that, I didn't see myself as a doctor. I didn't see myself as a lawyer, which was like the normal profession back then. I didn't see myself as, being in class like the rest of them and doing what normal people do. So I think in my subconscious mind, I knew that I had to do something else that other people were not actually doing. I had to prove that to myself that, even if I drop out of school, I'm still going to make it in whatever field that I go into. And
then things happened for you. You got your first job when you dropped out of college, working for a pastor as a secretary at your church.
I worked for Pastor Baloyi at Christian Revival Center, yes.
And then after that, you got a job as a receptionist at a logistics company, which changed your life.
I got a job as a receptionist at ITS, that's Intertech Testing Services. Their offices are based in Bedfordview. That changed my life. That was the beginning of my career, my whole life until right now. The company was involved in pre-shipment inspections. We were inspecting all the goods that were exported into African countries. So I started off as a receptionist. A couple of months later, they put me in the office as an inspections coordinator. So I would actually arrange those inspections for clients. And I think I got a bit interested, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know what this whole industry was about, because inspections is just a little bit, it's just a part of the whole thing.
You got interested in the business, then
yes, I did.
The next thing that changed your life was you got involved with a larger logistics company as their empowerment partner.
Yes, after working for a few other freight forwarding companies like Corporate Shipping, Vanguard Shipping, Sebenza Forwarding, UTI, I decided I'm going to start my own business. Like I said, with the epilepsy at the back of my mind, that was my motivation. That was my inspiration. I wanted to do it. And I decided, I'm going to approach a couple of companies and see if they can assist me with, the capital to start off the business, because I had the know-how, I had the experience, I had the idea of what I had the mental image of what I wanted to achieve in terms of this freight forwarding company. And I approached Imperial Logistics, and I I put the idea on the table, and they were very impressed with my idea, and they bought into, you know, the whole thing. And we started a company called MD of Consultancy.
And then in 2008, you broke away and started your own thing.
Yes.
Unsupported.
Yes.
Just tell us about those early humble beginnings.
In 2008, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go on my own, because as you can imagine, with partnerships, you always you're always limited. You can only do, you know, as far as, you know, you really cannot, that whole thing that you have in mind, you can't really run with it completely. And, you know, I felt like I was limited here and there. So in 2008, when I decided to go on my own, it was very difficult because obviously financially I was dependent on them. I had to now dig into my savings. I had to get a second bond. And I think also what helped was that I had clients already that I had been servicing in the past, you know, from working from those companies as well as MD of Consultancy, clients that were willing to actually take the risk with me. You know, they would give me the business and hope that, you know, I get their stuff delivered.
So a lot of people who watch this program always enjoy this question. I mean, what was that first day like when you got into an office and you were waiting for the phone to ring? And
actually, when I started, it was not in an office environment. It was, I started it from home. You know, I had a room set up outside, and I started from like nothing, you know. So it was very difficult. And at that time, I was driving this Fiat Palio, and I remember doing my first delivery for a company called Power Pump Engineering in Edenville, doing a delivery with my Palio, you know, and this big box of 100 kilos. I couldn't even see while I was driving, but, you know, I took pictures of that. And I remember saying to a friend of mine that, you know, a few years from now, when I have trucks and everything, I'm going to be laughing at, you know, this. This is going to be like a big joke. But at that time, I had to deliver the cargo, and I remember picking it up from Sebenza in Edenvale, dropping it off at the airport with a Fiat Palio. You can imagine. I mean,
so people didn't understand that you were the boss. They thought you were just working for someone.
I did everything. I answered the phones. I did sales because, you know, someone had to grow the business. I had to get more clients. I had to, you know, be like the receptionist. I had to be the director of the company. I had to do everything. And, you know, when clients come to see me, I had to offer them tea and coffee. You know, I was like...
The whole deal.
Yeah, you know.
So it must have been, it sounds, as I say, it sounds in some ways a very joyous path to where you are now, but there must have been bad times.
It was difficult. It was very, very difficult.
What was the worst?
The worst, I think, for me was to be taken seriously. As a young woman, I mean, this is like a couple of years ago. You can imagine being young, a black young female in this industry. When you knock on people's doors, they're like, oh, what can you give me? You know, really? What do you have? Do you even have a bakkie? I don't even have a, you know, a one-ton bakkie. So that was difficult to get people to believe in me, to believe in what I had in mind, the vision that I had.
As a woman, I mean, how ruthless at times did you have to be? Tell us that.
I think for me, it's like, you know, as a woman, you can do, you multitask, you know, and I think that's an advantage for me as well. So you know, you can put yourself there and do like 10 things at once. That's an advantage for me. But at the same time, I had to, you know, face clients who look at you and feel like, you know, you won't be able to do this. And I say to them, okay, I don't have Khaas Logistics in India, I don't have Khaas Logistics in Dubai, I don't have Khaas Logistics in China, but I've got a network of agents all over the world. You tell me where you want to take your goods and I will take them. And I've got very good agents who represent me like they work for me. So, you know, unfortunately, if you don't have 350 offices, Khaas Logistics offices, they tend to look at you differently. So you have to be like a bit harsh and go like, you know, try me, let's not even talk. The proof is in the pudding. Give me your business, give me a trial, you know, because that's how I challenge them. And I say to them, give me that trial shipment. Let's stop talking. Give me that shipment and then we'll talk.
So just tell me, the business itself since 2008, how quickly has it grown?
It has grown so much because...
You start off with just you and Fiat.
Yes,
and,
yes.
How many people do you have working for you now?
Right now in the office we've got 6, and then my husband works with me on a part-time basis. He's the one who does our marketing. So we're about 7 people inside the office. I've got 2 drivers. So it's really grown. I mean, you can imagine being a one-man show to having, you know, an office full of people like this. It has grown. I was looking at our figures between 2011 and 2012. We've grown with a 75% margin. I mean, that's like, amazing.
And what sort of turnover now are you doing in US dollars?
Not in US dollars, in rands.
Convert it for everyone else on the continent.
I think about just under 10 million.
That's not bad. That's not too shabby at all.
It's not. And actually, I'm very happy with the steady growth. It didn't just come overnight. It's 5 years now, and where we are right now, I'm very pleased.
So what do you want to be? You want to be the logistics queen of Africa?
Of course.
Or the world even?
Yes, the world, because that's my business. We do international freight forwarding. We deal with everyone all over the world. I would like to, the vision, the mental image that I have is to have a replica of an Expeditors or a UTI, but started off here, from Soshanguve, from the humble beginnings, being a one-man business, being 100% owner of the business, managing that business. So, what more can you ask for? That will be like big.
Well, a lot of people out there watching suffer from illnesses like the one you mentioned, epilepsy, at the start of the interview. I mean, what would you say to them? I mean, they're watching you now. You've come on. What advice would you give them in terms of making it as an entrepreneur?
I think don't underestimate yourself. Trust in the inner person. Trust in God, basically. Trust in, you can do it. I think the biggest thing that pushed me was that the fact that I had this illness was my, inspiration, was the one thing that actually pushed me to be where I am today. So if I didn't believe in myself, and I could have just, epilepsy, let me just get a job as a clerk and take my medicine, be safe. So you always have to take risks. I always took risks in my career up until right now, and even moving forward, I'm taking risks every day of my life. And if you don't take risks, unfortunately, you'll go nowhere.
Connie Mdladla, thank you very much indeed for your insights and sharing your memories with us.